Join Cardtricks live on Whatnot, the only place for regular wrestling breaks in the UK. Get £5 off your first purchase using code SCRNEW. Maybe that turns into your first one-of-one auto. Only one way to find out. Follow Cardtricks UK on Instagram and join the WhatsApp group via the link in the bio for all the latest news of what we are breaking and when. Let's get ready to rumble! Code only valid for first-time Cardtricks customers.
And now, presenting from across the pond, it's the Squared Circle Relics Podcast.
Hello and welcome along to your September edition of the Cardtricks bonus show. We're going to be going through Bad Blood. We have been a little while since we've done one of these. You know, we've had a few pay-per-views where obviously we went all in, but we haven't done a proper Cardtricks bonus show. So we're going to go through Bad Blood, and as always, joined by Lloydy and Chris. Boys, how you doing?
All good. Man. How are you?
Good. You should do our official titles: Colonel Chaos, Jamie Stocker, the CMC, Chris McCarthy, and your president, David Lloyd.
All got nicknames.
All the nicknames. We've got all the nicknames now. Do you like your CMC, Chris?
ATP CMC.
ATP CMC. There you go.
The CMC. So here we are then with the Bad Blood show. So as always, we'll go through a bit of detail around the show itself. We'll go through what we think the Panini Instant predictions will be and our wish list is what images we'd like to see. We'll do a quick review of whose cards are going up, whose are going down, who's are staying in the middle. And we'll just do a quick run through of Bad Blood. So first of all, boys, did you see Bad Blood? Did you watch it back any of it again? Have you seen the highlights? What's your overall thoughts before we start going into the show in a bit more detail?
I watched it all the way through. I didn't watch it live. I watched it a day after, and I'm glad I didn't stay up for it. Let's just say that. I thought it was a good show, though. I thought I'm not saying they're glorified house shows, but there's not a lot of movement that has happened since Mania with titles and stuff like that. They're just progressing, it seems, very slowly with storylines and matches. So I thought it was good. I thought it was very good. I thought obviously we're going to talk a lot about the cage match, the Hell in the Cell. But Chris, your thoughts first?
I did watch most of it live. The end, I watched clips to see what had happened. I thought it was like a solid show. Like you say, it was like a really good house show, or what I'd imagine a really good house show is. There was a couple of matches where maybe could have been replaced by maybe like a tag match or I don't know, something else. I suppose, yeah. But yeah, overall solid show, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the whole thing all the way through in detail. I watched the Hell in the Cell, obviously, and I watched the main event as kind of key points. And I've gone through and seen, most of the clips of the matches as they put them up on YouTube quite nicely now, really. I do feel this is more of a reset of a lot of stuff. I mean, Hell in the Cell have had those pay-per-views that's kind of been done to death. And I do think this was maybe a reset as to what Hell in the Cell should be. I mean, we'll get into the match in a bit more detail, but maybe because of what happened in the match, it made it more than it was. But I do definitely feel that there is a reset, that Hell in the Cell is the end of a feud, and that should be the end of those two now. But yeah, I think the rest of the show itself, again, 5 matches on the card once again. Triple H seems to like this kind of takeover type length for pay-per-view. It doesn't go on too long. So yeah, long way to continue.
Anymore. It's premium live event, isn't it?
Sorry, yeah, the PLE.
They keep shoving down our throats at every 2 minutes, especially Michael Cole. Fuck Michael Cole, man. Like every 2 minutes, he's saying, "Oh, PLE this, PLE that." I'm like, it's just a pay-per-view, man. We're paying to view it. It's a pay-per-view. Should we just talk about Hell in the Cell?
Let's do it. Yeah. So the show opens with Hell in the Cell.
It was first.
Yeah. So show opens Hell in the Cell. I think people were maybe a little bit surprised why this went on first. I think people were expecting it later on in the show, but I guess the main event makes sense why they put it on first. But I mean, as the end of a feud, did you enjoy the match in the first place, really? What do you think?
I always find it weird when they put, like, I can understand why it was first because of the main event, right? Which is perfectly fine. But pacing wise, it's just like you put your high octane match, the match that everyone is there to see, really.
Yeah. It genuinely was.
At the start of the show. And I think it really knackers. It's very English. It really tires the audience out throughout the rest of the show, where it takes a long time for them to get their energy back. Because especially when you put like dishwater on what we had on the second match, like it had to go there because of what it's really weird when they do it, this kind of thing. They don't do it often, but when they do it, it's a risk. I like the match. I would definitely say that the first thing we can talk about, they got rid of the red fucking cage.
Yeah.
Thank Christ.
Finally. It looks so much better.
So much better.
Just plain chicken wire everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what we want to. But I just think the match really, like, I mean, there was a lot of bumps. There seemed to be a hell of a lot of bumps in this. There seemed to be a hell of a lot of botches in this. There was a lot of blood, but it's just very reminiscent.
Beads.
Yeah,
There's a lot of beads.
Do you think that adds to it though? Like,
The beads added nothing. No.
No, but do you think the like it's in some ways sloppy, in some ways made it feel like a fight and didn't make it feel as choreographed as such? I think it just added to it in some ways.
To me, it just felt like what we used to have 20 plus years ago with this kind of stuff. It just felt like very reminiscent, very nostalgic of what we used to have. Obviously, the chair shots to the head, but I didn't get it. It's fine to hit each other in the head with steps and toolboxes and shit like that. And he actually cut his head open, didn't he? Was it with the chair? It was
the toolbox.
I thought it was with the chair he actually cut it open with. So you know when he's hitting him on the head with the end of the chair,
the leg,
like the bar underneath. Yeah. I think that's what cuts his head open. I believe. I don't think it was the toolbox. And so it was a botch that did it. This is Drew McIntyre's head we're talking about, and it looked like a massive fanny on top of his head. It was huge. So he was bleeding profusely because of that. And obviously Punk cut himself open as well on the side of his head. So it just seemed very reminiscent, like crimson masks everywhere, blood everywhere, just very reminiscent of what you used to have. But no chair shots to the head, but chair shots to the head of every other fucking thing that they could find. So there you go.
There's a lot of dangerous spots, and obviously the table spot is quite dangerous. Unique stuff using like the table legs as a weapon. I think him going for the claymore, landing on the steps.
I think it was actually the table leg. Was it the table
legs? Yeah, legs. It
was the bar across, and yeah, that's. Anyway, he had a big fanny on his head.
But I thought that claymore where he landed on his back on the stairs, I think that looked painful as fuck. I don't know. I thought it was a really good match, and as I said on the normal pod this week, I think it was a nice reset for Hell in the Cell. Yeah. I don't think you can go anywhere further really with this Drew McIntyre CM Punk feud. I think that is now the blow off.
Did you see when he hit the Drew hit the suplex to Punk onto the table outside? Punk looked like he was dead.
Yeah, he did.
He looked like the blood had drained out of him. I was just like looking at him, going, "Is he all right?" But obviously, it was all a work.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
but, it was really, really good. I will say about CM Punk though that he has done a complete U-turn on the whole. Big fan of Brett. He's now a big fan of Shawn, isn't he? He loves Shawn Michaels. He had Shawn Michaels' heart on his trunks. He come back to Raw and was doing like his whole lost his smile type thing. He's gone away for 4 weeks to avoid obviously the Saudi show. But
did you see what Shawn came out and said this week?
No.
He said NXT is like waiting for CM Punk for when Sean decides it's time for
look,
him to, hang up the boots sort of thing.
and it makes sense. I mean, Punk was there dressed up like the Shawn Michaels referee, weren't he, doing the stuff down his trunk? So, I mean, he's done a big 180 on Shawn Michaels. He's like, kick Bret Hart was AEW, Shawn Michaels is WWE, and that's it, really. So, yeah, no, I thought it was good. I'm looking forward to what we may get next time around. But do you think, going back, obviously we're doing everything 1997 with SummerSlam and Hell in the Cells, do you think we continue this going towards WrestleMania now to kind of do Punk and Rollins, I guess, is what we're looking to continue that 1997 run as it would have been?
Probably.
Yeah.
Or do we have
it looks
match
like
of the
it,
Rumble?
doesn't it? It does look like it.
So,
But kind of
find it
glad.
weird.
I was just going to say, kind of glad that this Drew Punk thing has kind of come to an end now.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was needed, wasn't it?
Do you like call off Drew and just push Punk more now then? Because that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to remove one of them for a while.
Well, that's what they've done with Punk. So Punk's gone now for a month. He said he's going to go away for about 4 weeks, he said. He's going to be gone. So that's Punk off telly. So, yeah, we won't see him for a little while. Drew's obviously going to be written off, I guess, for the time being to heal up a bit. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go. Right, so up next then, we'll go to Nia Jax and Bayley in that case for the Women's Championship.
14 minutes. 14 minutes, 10 seconds it was. Fuck's sakes.
So predictable.
No, it's one of the worst. It's
So-
one of the
so
worst.
predictable.
One of the worst matches I think I've ever seen in my life.
Should we move on then?
I hated it.
I would have preferred to have seen like Jade and Bianca in like a tag match or something, just something else. I don't think this fitted the rest of the show.
No.
It seemed out of place. I know that something had to follow Punk and McIntyre, but yeah.
I don't get a world that we've been in where they made cuts, and they made cuts a lot of it because of COVID, which still doesn't make sense because they made loads of money anyway. So they made themselves attractive to sell. That's why they did it. But they cut Nia Jax, and they've brought her back, and they've given her the belt, and it's like, yeah, she's going to be fodder for when what's her name, Tiffy Time takes over, no doubt.
I was just going to ask this, yeah.
But obviously the cash-in didn't happen this time round. They're teasing it all the time. But just give it to Tiffy. Like, it's just...
It's inevitable. There's no
Like
way
with
she
Nia
doesn't
Jax.
cash in successfully.
Why is she
so.
back? I don't understand why Nia Jax is back. There's no point. Like, she's a terrible wrestler.
The only thing I could see, and I've said it before, is put her in with the Bloodline. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put her in as Bloodline's here. I don't know. Just seems like,
Tamina. Her and Tamina.
yeah, her and Tamina.
Yeah.
Game over.
I mean, do you think they do then, Tiffy? Do you think they do the cash in? Because they're promoting Saturday night's main event in December as like a PLE, but it's on a Saturday. Do you think they do the cash in maybe then and get rid of it in December? Or do you think they do it sooner than that?
And sooner the better.
Maybe
Get rid
a
of
Saudi Arabia cash in, maybe.
I'd just get rid of Nia Jax. You don't need her in there.
Just getting gone.
Yeah, I mean, she's just at what point do you just say, look, we've seen the best of her, and it wasn't a lot, but we have seen the best of her. The best thing she ever did was break Becky's nose.
Yeah.
That's what she did.
Yeah, that made
the man. So
yeah, she needs to do something else. I think, like I said, the Bloodline thing is one idea, but just anything else, because she's just been the same character or the same kind of thing for nearly 10 years now. So
barista at Starbucks or something.
anything
anything at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, let's move on from that then, because none of us really like that match. So then we had Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Finn Balor obviously in his new get up with his mask and the black line on his face with his face paint. I don't really know if that adds much to Finn Balor as such, but I mean, this is a match they've obviously been building up to post the turn. I mean, did you guys enjoy this match? Are you bothered by it going any further? I mean, I think this is, again, the end of this feud, do you think, at this point? Or do you think Priest carries on going through the rest of the Judgment Day at this point?
This is the one that I didn't understand, because you've got to let the heel win. Like if you want to put people behind Damian Priest more, right? You've got to give the win to Finn for a couple of times maybe, and then Priest gets that big win over him. So I was a bit surprised that they've just given it straight to Priest, and it's just kind of like, well, where do you go from here? That's kind of over now then, isn't it?
It does nothing for Balor, does it really, at all, this feud? It's not elevated him at all.
It does nothing for Priest either.
There's nothing for anyone.
No.
So I don't understand. It's the one match on the card that I didn't kind of understand the reason behind giving it straight to Priest.
Mm.
Like, let Carlito come in and stick a apple on him or something like that on Priest's head, and I don't know, something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like win by DQ, like Finn wins by DQ or something like that. Make it
sometimes screw finish.
I don't know, something. But it didn't sit right that they've just kind of just done this, because I think it does nothing for either man, to be honest. But the match was fine. You know, I don't enjoy watching Priest and Finn. I think he's fine, but he's never been my favourite, and ultimately I think he's just getting on a bit now. I think Priest is getting on a bit now as well.
I don't think that either of their like wrestling styles complement each other. It's not a fun one to watch in terms of that, is it? It's not somebody who I would put together against each other. I like them as a team, but yeah, not so.
Priest botches so many. Like, if you watch him, the amount of stuff that he does, he kind of tries to like preempt stuff. Like, he knows it's coming, and then
looks for it.
His body just like spasms. Like he knows it's coming, so he's already one step ahead of what's coming, but it's very visible, and it just looks like he's botching the whole time. So he's. I was a big fan of Damian Priest when he came up. I thought he was really. I saw him wrestle over here. I liked him. I think his look is really cool and interesting, but the run that he had as champion and what he's doing now just doesn't interest me.
It's not for you.
No.
Oh, well, should we move through then to... This isn't our next match then. This is kind of just a sort of interim bit before the women's title match. So you had Triple H coming out with a huge announcement, announcing there's going to be the Crown Jewel Championship for the men and the women. The world's largest title belt. I mean, the belt itself is stunning. It's a lovely big belt, but imagine if Liv Morgan or someone like that that's going to swamp them. I hope it's going to be slightly smaller.
Rey Mysterio wouldn't be able to lift it.
Jesus. I mean, talking about 500 pounds of gold. Dear, oh dear.
So wait, what's the stipulation on this one?
So the Raw versus SmackDown at Crown Jewel. So it'd be, I guess it's going to be Cody and Kevin Owens, I guess, for the belt for those two, maybe at Crown Jewel or something, or I don't know. It's going to be Raw versus SmackDown, I believe.
Well, it's Cody versus Gunther, isn't it?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, is it Cody versus Gunther? Oh, champ versus champ, is it?
Champ versus champ, and then the winner doesn't win the belt, doesn't win their belt. They win the
champ's
championship.
Belt. Fine.
Yeah. So it's going to be the women's and the men's version of it. So it's like,
is that Raw? There's Raw versus SmackDown, then, isn't it?
It's Raw versus SmackDown champions, basically.
Yeah.
And the winner doesn't win both belts; they just win that big motherfucking
the big belt.
Yeah. So you're not going to have your own title. Yeah.
So we're going to have Liv Morgan and Nia Jackson potentially then face to face for the big belt.
It's just like the champions versus the champions of champions, didn't they? They always used to do.
Yeah.
I
mean, that was a big ass belt, but I think the main thing that we had from this, obviously, that we had Goldberg come back to WWE after we didn't think we'd see him again in a post-Vince world. Lining up what could potentially be Goldberg and Gunther after Gunther saying it was his favourite wrestler of all time, which again, I'm hoping it'll be a fairly quick match when they do it. I don't think you need to be doing much with Gunther and Goldberg, but
I think Goldberg can do much, can he?
I mean, it's not going to be... Gunther will just slap him a few times and do a couple of big old chops, and it'll just be the big spear. He ain't going to lift him up for the jackhammer, I would have thought. Would it just be a big spear, I guess? I mean, interesting.
I'm just happy that he didn't get his son's top off and start parading around with him again.
That was weird.
That's a Goldberg classic right there. Look at my
Goldberg
son
moment.
with his top off. Look at my son's nipples.
I mean, we might
That's
get
what he
Goldberg's
did.
son versus
He did
Gunther
this.
one day.
I remember.
He
yeah.
did this. This is not me making this up. He did this on TV. This happened. Yeah, really strange, man.
Really strange. One.
Mad
He's
time.
a strange lad. Where have you stood on Goldberg? Like,
Goldberg.
do you like Goldberg? Not like Goldberg? Don't really care about Goldberg?
I mean, I never watched WCW, so I was never a Goldberg fan until we got to WWE, and even that run wasn't that great. So I like. I mean, I'm partial. I don't mind him though.
I liked him when I was watching WCW in the late 90s. I did like him, but it was kind of when Stone Cold, I don't know, it was something about it was just too similar to Stone Cold that, yeah, the more and more Stone Cold developed, the more and more I liked Goldberg less, I think. Just seemed like a rip-off, do you know what I mean?
I'm surprised they've given him so many, like, they gave him the nod. Like, when he squashed Brock, I thought that was a big, like, when he came back and he was old, and he squashed Brock. Oldberg.
When he won the Universal
surprised by that.
title at one point. So.
Yeah.
Universal Belt, yeah.
I was surprised that they did that, but yeah, I'm neither here or there with Goldberg, to be honest. With cards, he does have this, like,
There's a few big collectors.
there's a following. Yeah, there's
a
following.
guy
of it.
called Goldberg Collector on Instagram, and he has got some
Yeah.
really nice cards.
Okay.
He's got a big old auto as old Bill Goldberg as well, actually.
All right, let's go on to number
cool.
4.
So yeah, let's go to the women's title match. So this is, still on the pod this week. Dom Mysterio in a cage, the same cage that they used for War Games. So he was just hanging above the ramp, and as you said earlier, he couldn't be above the ring because the Hell in the Cell was there. Just a couple of footnotes really. So the entrance, obviously Dom's coming into the ring in the Eddie Guerrero type lowrider, which is quite a nice piece with the Mysterio stuff on the side, and then Rhea Ripley comes down to the ring with some Dirty Dom bog roll, which I guess WWE's marketing as something you can now buy. I mean, what do you guys think of the match in itself? Did it live up to expectations? Do you think this is the end of this, or do you think they're going to get 3 matches from this?
I was about to say this is the one match that I haven't really seen much of. But it's not the end of it, is it? Because it was a kabuki-ish finish, right?
Yeah, weird finish.
I like Rhea and Liv wrestling each other, even though the size discrepancy is extreme. Like Rhea is a big old hench girl, isn't she? You know what I mean? Versus Liv, who's quite small and dainty. Between the two of them, they always seem to have really good chemistry and a good match with each other.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. The Dominic Mysterio thing was just so funny. So he fell out of the cage. So spoilers. All of this is spoilers. But he fell out of the cage. He was connected to the cage via his ankle. He's hanging there. The ref had ref cam on, and Rhea said, "Do you mind if I go outside?" And he was like, "No, you deserve it." And so she went outside with a kendo stick and battered him. And then all of a sudden, Raquel Rodriguez, is that her name now? Rodriguez? She's changed
Rodriguez,
it.
yeah.
She's no longer Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. I prefer that. Yeah, she comes down and then she starts battering Rhea. And then this is in the ring where she's battering Rhea. And the ref calls for the bell. That goes off. And then she tries to put Liv over Rhea and hasn't realised that the bell was gone. And she looks really confused. And we all look really confused. And we're like, you've obviously botched something somewhere. So they just go off down the ramp, cuddling each other. Her, Dom and Liv all go back up the ramp, cuddling each other. Well done. Maybe Raquel Rodriguez is going to join Judgment Day, or there's going to be a different them 3 off together. God knows what's going to happen next. And Rhea, so she wins, but she wins by DQ.
Yeah.
So she still doesn't want the belt. To be honest, I like the match. I like this whole thing with Dom and Liv. To be honest, it's probably one of my favourite. Even though it was only 14 minutes long, it was one of the shortest matches on the. It had less time than the Nia Jax match. What the fuck? But I liked it. I thought it was quite fun.
I think for the kids out there, there's definitely going to be a playset that includes a cage and a Dom figure or something like that. I think this is primed for accessories for Mattel. Yeah.
You might not get a figure of Raquel Rodriguez from this for her gear.
No,
it's
I
very
don't.
very Jacqueline-esque from old school.
But I think that's definitely. I mean, we're getting to the ups and downs, but yeah, I think we didn't see some people getting more interested in Raquel stuff. So we're getting to the main event side of things.
I think she's always been popular. Raquel always sells quite. I've always seen her.
I've had some quite decent Raquel cards on my eBay for really cheap, and they've just not moved at all.
Wow.
We'll save it for the cards up and down. We'll see what happens. So yeah, main event time. So Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, the Mega Powers, versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. So again, tag match in itself. I mean, it's I guess in some ways quite nice having something different than just a title match. Have you guys seen the main event? What do you think of how the match actually was, and any favourite spots throughout the match?
I just a lot of it was Cody being beaten up. And it was like, that trying to get that hot tag to Roman.
Roman is a real hot babyface now. Like, that was building up so nicely, and everyone was desperate for the Roman tag, weren't they?
But it just seemed to go on forever, and it was like 25 minutes long, that match. But the majority of it seemed to be Rhodes just trying to get to him, which ultimately, that is a very classic way of tag matches, right? It's the build it up, but I think it just went on for too long. Solo and Fatu really complement each other so well.
Yeah.
I don't like this old trope they're doing with Jake Fatu, like you keep hitting him and he doesn't feel it. It's the we've seen it with the Fiend, we've seen it with Braun Strowman. You have this initial thing where a character you can't knock down, you know what I mean? It takes ages. You can do finisher after finisher to them and they still get up, and Fatu's one of those people at the minute. He won't be for the rest of his career, trust me. It'll be a fad thing that goes through, but I kind of hate that because it's just like it diminishes everyone else's moves. You know what I mean? It's like when you've got to do like 17 crossroads onto someone to actually keep them down. It's like, well, okay. But yeah, I feel it was a good match. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. This whole bloodline feud. How long has that actually been going on for now? Like the whole bloodline thing. It's 2.5 years, 3 years.
Gotta be getting on.
It's going to be because they were building to it from Payback, weren't they? As soon as Roman won the belt, they were kind of adding to it, weren't they?
Well, that's 4 years then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it 2000? It was 2021, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Let me Google it. When did the bloodline story start?
But we did have the Jimmy Uso return in this as well.
We did.
I quite liked it. I think it didn't get well received online from what I'd seen, but I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it was obvious who it was, but still cool.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it was a good way, like how you put him back into it all now. I think the missing thing is obviously it's always going to be the brother, Jay. You know what I mean? And Jay seems to be going on his own path, far away from this bloodline thing. But it just feels like he needs to be back into it now.
And I think he will at some point further down the line. I think that'll be the next one. You kind of return sort of thing.
Yeah.
So okay. I can't remember who are the actual brothers. Solo, is he a brother of
the Usos?
I know they're brothers.
Yeah, but Solo's their younger brother.
Yeah, brother. I thought there was. So I did wonder whether or not there was a brother connection with those three. Yes,
so Jimmy's the oldest, and then Jay, but they're twins, right? but Jimmy's the older twin.
Mm.
And then
So
Solo's the younger brother. And
I mean,
Fatu, I don't...
Zila or...
So Fatu's Rikishi's... No, is Fatu Rikishi's... No, it's not
Nephew.
Rikishi's son, is it?
I think they're
cousin.
cousins. I think. They're all cousins and uncles and shit like that. But the Tamatonga and Tangaloa, they're not related, though. I don't think.
So he's a nephew.
Not-
Yes, so
they're
Jacob is a
Tongans, they're not from
nephew.
Samoa.
No.
It's a different country.
Different island.
Yeah, different island.
Different island. Oh, no, we're trying to get the family tree of the Samoa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it is,
ultimately, it's. I think it was a good match. Obviously, no matter what happens in that match, it's just stamped with The Rock coming back at the end of it.
Yeah, and not knowing where he lies.
Thing is, they do this so like the last time they did it was CM Punk, wasn't it? And he came out at the end. They love to do that. They love to do a little like
False finish.
yeah, he's back kind of thing. And obviously, from what we saw at the end with him walking to his trailer, which we covered on this show
Amazing.
before, he's no fan of Cody Rhodes. Doesn't look like he's a fan of Roman. Doesn't look like he's a fan of the Bloodline. I don't know. What's he going to be doing?
Yeah.
Well, also with that finish with Roman Reigns and Jimmy as well, like, as they were going up the ramp, like Roman Reigns said, "Oh, this is only a one night deal," and wasn't going to go back to Cody, but Jimmy persuaded him. So you got this kind of thing as well as like, will Roman actually go with The Rock, and whatever happens, it's going to be.
Well, he got that baby face thing, didn't he, of going to help Cody again. So he is proper. He's proper baby facing it up now, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Cool. I mean, right, okay, let's do a quick thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle for the show then. Where do you sit this on that scale?
Thumbs up. Like
Thumbs up.
there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's not a big pay-per-view, right? It's one of those in the middle pay-per-views that we're now waiting for Survivor Series.
Yeah, it's a 7 out of
it's a
10
big
for
road.
me. It's solid. I think I've said it before. It's a solid pay-per-view. I personally prefer slightly shorter matches, but more matches. But yeah, it was
And
still
less
solid.
Nia Jax matches. And,
Less minutes there.
yeah, less minutes.
4 minutes.
So, yeah, I mean, I think go out your way to watch the Hell in the Cell and the main event, and I think you'll be absolutely fine. But Hell in the Cell definitely match of the night for me. Cool. Okay, let's run through then our Panini instant predictions. So I have just had a quick look now. Panini haven't put them up as of yet, and we are recording on Thursday
It will
night.
be
so
tomorrow. It will
It'll be
be
tomorrow.
It's
No,
always
like,
the
exactly.
day after.
So let's have a quick Recce, what would you like as your wish list, and what do you also think your predictions are going to be for instance, and even autos? Let's have a go on the autos if we can't already guess what they're probably going to be.
Well, Sami Zayn's not going to be in there for a change, so that's a
Bron
classic.
Breaker, he wasn't on it.
He wasn't on it.
He's normally an auto in the.
No, Bron Breaker's hasn't been an auto on
Really?
Instants.
No.
No way.
It's always Raquel Obafemi.
Liv and Dom.
The girl that you like, Roxanne Perez.
Yeah.
She's on it a lot. Gunther. So all the people. Nia Jax has had one though.
So we have
and Dom.
Nia
Bailey.
and Liv and Dom, I think, won't we? Will be autos.
Nia, 100%.
Nia, definitely. Yeah.
It's normally the winners anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll probably you might get a Rhea. You probably
get a Punk,
get a Liv and Dom
Bloody
again.
Punk.
Potentially. You're more likely.
I don't think
to
they'll
get,
hit blood though on the card. I don't think you're going to get any blood on them. I don't
You're
think they
more
will do
likely
it.
I mean,
to get Drew
hoping.
McIntyre because Drew's signed before.
Yeah.
He might, but they don't normally do the losers of the match, do they? So
I think if you get Punk and Drew, it'll be that pre-match kind of shot of them before they start the match off. I don't think you're going to get much more from that. I think, as Chris said, I think the dream would be to get the bloody shot of them, but I don't think we're going to get anything like that.
you might get the Rock at the top of the stage. Though.
I was going to say that. I think the Rock, if they do that, imagine the 1-on-1 for the Rock. If they do that, we'll go mental for it. I can see those going really quickly if they do a Rock. I think funny feeling will probably get Jimmy returning. They seem to love these kind of Jimmy type being revealed or whatever type stuff. Or Cody doing the splash through the table.
We need The Rock pointing at Cody and Dusty on the thing. I wasn't on the show, but that would be cool.
You never know.
Returning maybe will be the card.
Shark Cage,
yeah. That's the sort of shit they love on Instants, didn't they? Like random.
I think they'll have the Shark Cage on it. That'd be quite a cool card.
That might be the auto. That might be a dumb auto in the Shark Cage.
Yeah. Shark Cage auto.
Yeah, Shark Cage rookie.
I like that.
Cool. Okay, boys. So let's do another quick game then. So cards going up, down, or staying in the middle. Anyone's card stock going up? Do we reckon?
Are not going up in price from this.
Who's are going up? Who's are going down? And who's not
going up? I don't know. Like
maybe Raquel. I'm hoping Raquel.
I think Raquel.
I'm praying. Get some of these low numbered.
Rhea's, Romans, Cody's, all of those boys and girls. Their cards are already high anyway. They ain't going any higher.
Liv as well.
Liv, Dom. I think the only person really is Raquel. Maybe even Jimmy.
Maybe.
Jimmy gets some love.
Usos have been doing all right lately, yeah. Usos get a lot of love. I do still think that Liv Morgan has potential to go even higher. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's quite high at the moment, but I think I don't think she's hit the ceiling with this yet.
The Queen of Green.
I don't know. Taggy selling it is 101 for 12 grand. That's pretty high, man. She's done all right.
Very granted, but I could go higher.
Could
do.
I think there could be some potential that Goldberg may get a bit more light on him. People might want a bit of a Goldberg action. I don't think there's going to be any big changes this time around. There's no big shocks here. I think the big thing would be if they do a Rock in Instance, that'll be the one Panini Instant Rock could be a big card if someone decides to move that on. If they do one a ROM Rock, but we'll see what happens tomorrow, no doubt. Cool. So I guess just finally in that case, as we go through, of course, this is the Cardtricks bonus show. We like to run through the big hits that Cardtrick have pulled over the past month. I can't get onto the Instas to go through some of the bigger hits, but you boys, have you got them?
I'll do it, boys. We can go back for a couple of months, really. Let's go back mid-August, and I'll only do like a few from the August into the Septembers. But yeah, the EO Sky 1/1 from Prism. He had Noam Dar 1/1, the sensational signatures from Prism as well. That's hilarious. I love how Noam Dar's still in the sets. It's crazy.
That was pulled the day before I went on to a break and had the Noam Dar spot.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go. Lots of color blasts. I can see Roman. I can see Takers. I can see
HBK.
Well, I can see white Romans and black Roman color blasts.
Yeah.
I remember him, like, I can see this at the minute. I remember him pulling 2 Roman black color blasts in the same break. That was insane. Yeah. Immaculate. I don't remember him pulling. Maybe I do. He pulled a Drew McIntyre 1/1 memorabilia autographs. Yeah, patch auto. That's cool. The patch is like on those ones is so small, but you can see something going on, but I don't know what is going on with it. But that's pretty cool though. So what else? He pulled a Trick Willie undercard as well, 1/1.
Yep.
Black 1/1. He also has pulled. Let's go into some of the photogenics because the photogenics are cool. So I think the biggest two. I was going to say the biggest two.
Go on then.
The biggest two are the picture perfect 1/1 of Carmelo Hayes. That's cool.
Very cool.
That's the only
card.
picture perfect 1/1 I've seen, actually, so that's pretty cool.
So,
And also the Jimmy Uso, the base Jimmy Uso 1/1.
I was in this break, actually, yeah.
This is not the first Jimmy Uso 1/1 he's pulled.
No.
He pulls Hogan's and Jimmy Uso's.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a few Jimmys.
Yeah, there's been a few Jimmys. All right, Jimmy. Going back on the Scottish again.
See you, Jimmy.
See you, Jimmy. I think probably one of the biggest cards that he did pull was that insert. The progression insert of the Rock out of 5?
Yeah.
That's huge. That's such a big card. Any others you guys want to mention?
I mean, they've had I know we've obviously got a few months worth here, but they've had a cracking run of hits over the last few months, to be honest. So, yeah, big
swirls. I see a John Cena swirl out of 6, and I see a live. He pulls a lot of live as well, especially for Tagsy. He pulls a lot of Tagsy lives. Again, swirls out of 13 on the autographs on the FOTL. So he's had that in as well.
On the AEW side, I think it was last night or the night before, he pulled a 1/1 plate for Thunder Rosa from Allure.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
And the magenta.
Yep.
So yes, lots. Oh my god, he pulled a Maze Rock from the Photogenic. Have you seen it? It's so cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love
these final
That
boss rocks are so nice.
Cool.
That is so cool. So yes, lots going on in the world of Cardtricks. Guys, if you don't know what Cardtricks is and you're listening to the show, you need to get onto it. And Jamie, you can fill us in with the details of how to get onto Cardtricks and all that stuff.
And save some
money. As always. So Cardtricks, again, we always have a special discount code for them that runs sort of kind of throughout the month pretty much. So we will put that on our social media feed and link you direct up to that. But again, last month it was, half price up to 50 quid. So you could get £25 off a spot on your first Cardtricks break. So again, a massive discount there. You can find them on Whatnot. So it's Cardtricks UK, and they've got Cardtricks 2, which is other sports. If you want to come join the WhatsApp community that's been set up, again, there's a break channel, a sales, there's raffles, there's our own chat on there. So do definitely come over and check out the community that's been set up there. And again, just come and have a look. And again, now with Whatnot doing their own discount stuff as well, the more you buy, the more discounts you get with Cardtricks. There's always great raffles, there's watch-alongs. Just definitely give them a check out if you've never gone to Cardtricks before. So boys, I mean, that's it pretty much for our bonus episode for this month. Again, on the pay-per-view schedule, we have Wrestle Dream Cup this weekend, which of course we won't be doing a special for, but our next pay-per-view really is going to be probably Survivor Series if we don't have something in between. So, see you in a couple of months. Boys, do you want to do any final sign-offs before we go? Otherwise, we'll get out of here for the night.
No, just stay happy, don't try and get too wet out there, guys, but we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, and buy Instants.